Growing up in the 90s was nothing short of brilliant. Mobiles were bricks. The internet was restricted to one family computer. Influencers weren't a thing, and kids held competitions on how long they could keep their cyber pets alive. One of the many traditions was the McDonald's birthday. Our local had a room which was kitted out for everything the party would need, and although I never had a McDonald's birthday, I heard they were great. McDonald's were founded in 1940 by brothers Richard and Maurice. Originally serving barbecue foods, the brothers realised that profit lay in hamburgers rather than anything else. They also operated a car service where customers would order from their vehicles, then park up and be served by a waitress. In 1948, the brothers, noticing how slow the process was, introduced a system called the Speedy Service System. Instead of the waitress going to the car, the customer has to go to the counter, and through a clever arrangement of the kitchen equipment, it meant the customer would have their meal in minutes, and the customer would take their food with them. They sold their business as franchises. In 1954, after buying 14 of his milkshake machines, salesman Ray Kroc visited McDonald's and was impressed with the business, but he envisioned over 1,000 restaurants across the states. He became the franchise manager, and his vision exceeded expectations. With over 36,000 franchises all over the world, McDonald's has become a world leader in the market. Because the restaurants are franchises, there is no uniform standard to their design, other than the kitchen. So even though the menu is similar, each restaurant is unique. One of the most unique lay in Germany. The early 1990s was turmoil for the country. It had just announced its unification and, amongst other things, was planning to merge its two state railways into one. It wasn't going to be an easy affair, nor was it cheap either, so things had to be budgeted. The German Federal Railway had several long-distance routes, and while these were high speed, it still took people several hours to travel, so it was customary to have some form of buffet car on board. Buffet cars are popular and allows people to purchase either light bites or a full meal. However, a larger meal you had to sit in the car, and it, like the car service, could only serve so many. So Germany had an idea. McDonald's had the perfect business model, quick, cheap food that could be eaten at your seat. And they had 2 railway buffet cars, perfect for a makeover. And that's what McDonald's did. They optimised their kitchen for both the space and efficiency, while the fine dining was replaced with 27 seats, mainly for first and second class passengers. It was a basic design as you got in many restaurants. On the outside, McDonald's didn't hold back on the marketing. Each of these carriages received a unique livery. Instead of the standard blue, both were in the classic McDonald's red, with the Golden Arches logo at either door. It was unmistakable as a McDonald's. The menu also wasn't typical. Now, being a franchise, McDonald's restaurant owners have some say in what promotions they enter or what they serve. There are, of course, the basic staples such as the Big Mac or the fries. However, they can choose not to add a temporary or special item to the menu or take part in an offer. The menu also depends upon the geographical location. Some restaurants offer cheese sandwiches, while others offer mac and cheese. Just because the McTrain, yes, that is what it was called, was moving, made it exempt from this. The menu contained everything you would expect: kids' meals, fillet of fish and chicken nuggets. But there was also the McRib, side salad, sausages and spaghetti. Being outfitted with a full kitchen also meant that the restaurant could cater for breakfasts as well, so a timetable was made so the staff could change the menu ready for the afternoon rush. But having a moving McDonald's had some drawbacks. The lack of space meant that freezer space was a premium. and it wasn't possible just to call for a delivery. Aside for clever planning, if an emergency top-up was required, then the McDonald's would have to call ahead from a station to another McDonald's to arrange food to be delivered at the next stop. In addition, it was also a logistical problem for the staff. If they were working the late shift and didn't transfer off, then they would end up miles from home, with the company footing the bill for a night's accommodation. Staff shortages were also a problem. Being late for work is one thing, but when your workplace moves away, there's nothing you can do. Worse still, your colleagues suffer by being a man down. Power consumption was also a problem. With so much equipment on board, the kitchen was a huge drain, taking up twice as much power than the kitchen before it. But the trial went forward, and in 1992 it was unveiled to the world. People thought it was going to go global as the Swiss replicated the idea at the same time. However, it did not go down well with the passengers. The passengers that frequented these long-haul services on the regular were usually business class individuals or commuters, and those especially in the upper classes were horrified that their sit-down meals had turned into cheap fast food. It wasn't that they were being snobbish, far from it, but it was just that they relied on this kitchen to get something hearty. In their schedules, there was simply no time to get a decent meal anywhere else, and facing nothing but McDonald's every time they travelled, it was enough to start putting long-haul, frequent travellers off. When German airlines started to offer short-haul flights, cutting hours off journey times, people flocked to them, killing off the franchise for good. And 3 years after it started, the McTrain was quietly discontinued. As trains have gotten faster and journey times were cut, there is little need for dedicated dining cars. In the UK, light food and snacks are offered, with only the first class receiving meals, and fine dining is generally reserved for excursions and pleasure trips. But in some countries like Japan, meals on trains are common. The McTrain was an interesting experiment, and I think with today's tech, it might have caught on. But for now, the only Mackies I think we'll ever see on board is the food that you bring with you.